Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And a bunch of people have awared me that Ken O'Body had a new press video. They're like, Jason, go check out Ken O'Body's press. Now you've called him weak in the past. Check it out. Go see what he did. So I'm going to flip in what he just did.
Come on! Ha! Come on! Easy! Fuck yeah!
All right, I'm going to take back anything I ever said about this man being weak. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And you know, I've given him flack in the past. I have, and some of it's deserved. But there comes a point where a person has to admit they are wrong. I have told him in the past, you know, I want to see you do something heavy besides some press laying on your back, right? We don't care about your bench press bouncing it off your chest. Do something that actually involves the entire body. Do something impressive, not a 400 deadlift, because I mean that's novice numbers. Let's see you actually lift something that involves the whole body. And I'll be damned if he didn't deliver. He just caught me. Sort of, because you guys know for a while that was my daily training max. That's what I was hitting every day was 225. But the most I have hit on camera is 227 and a half. He is 2.5 pounds from my camera PR earlier this year, while weighing less. I'm actually impressed. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. That is pretty damn legit, Greg. That's legit. That is very legit. And here's what I would say. This is what I tell you guys you should be striving for. I'm always telling you guys, you know, get to a 200 press. Get to at least a 200-pound press. That's what you need to do. But really, that two-plate press is the benchmark, right? That's what I was shooting for way earlier this year, and I got it really early this year, and then I got to where I was doing it every day. Devin Palumbo was actually racing me to that. You guys don't always know what happens in social media behind the scenes, but Devin Palumbo and I were actually trying to race to 225, right? And he got to 220, and then he had a back injury before he could get to the 225. But I beat him to that, but then we look along, and Ken O'Body was right behind us. There he is. He got it this year, too. You know, that's a big milestone lift. And, you know, the thing is, what was I talking about before? Well, he doesn't touch the chest. He touched the chest. Did you guys catch that? There was a chest touch. I saw it. There's a chest touch. So I can't crap on the lift. I can't call that lift out. None of us can say, oh, it wasn't legit. I mean, it was a part. He touched his chest, guys. He touched his chest. That counts. That lift counts. I will give it to him. That was a legit two-plate press. So, you know, this is good stuff. This is what I want to see, man. I mean, we might clown a lot of people in the community out there for being all drugs or all aesthetics and no performance, like all show and no go. A lot of guys we could clown about that. But, I mean, the dude just hit a legit 225 press. Get that deadlift up to 500, you'll be good to go. That's what he needs to do. There we go. That's what I want to see you do next year. Get you a 500 deadlift. Yeah, I think you can do it, to be honest. I think you can do it. You just need to work on it. But that's what I try to tell people, man. Full body strength. It's all about the big lifts. But, you know, here's what people need to look at again. I brought this up with the press. For me, the only thing with the shoulders is that I'm at a higher body fat, but I'm leaning down. I'm down to what, 17.0 on my last DEXA scan and still dropping. I'm going to drop another 15 pounds, hopefully before the next DEXA scan, hopefully a pure fat, because that's what we did last time. So, I mean, it's coming along, but you guys have seen I do have pretty big shoulders. When you guys have seen me shirtless or in a tank top, people are like, oh yeah, your shoulders are bigger than we thought. All right. I don't do other stuff. The press is my primary shoulder building exercise. That's my delts, traps, everything. I put a lot of focus on it. But you take Ken O'Body. He's got a two-plate press. Look at his shoulders. When you're at a lower body fat, you can really see that. Same thing, Devin Palumbo. 220 press. He was almost to his 225, but he's also hit a 300 clean and jerk on camera, which is almost like a clean and push press, really. Big, heavy overhead pressing, guys, that will build your entire shoulder girdle up. That will build your shoulder girdle. That is what it's about. And it is a man's lift. It's a man's lift. But this is what I'm trying to get the YouTube fitness community more in the direction of. Understanding the importance of the performance on these big, basic movements. It's not just about the big three, guys. I mean, everyone thinks, oh, you're just promoting powerlifting. I'm not. I'm not, because I've included body weight exercises. I've included the press. But by that same token, you're not going to have a super strong weighted pull-up if you're real fat, are you? So that's always what I tell guys. These are things you should be shooting for, these strength standards. It's not just squat, bench, and deadlift. There's other lifts you need to have these strength standards on. And if you can hit all of them, particularly the real strong body weight ones, that's going to require you to be leaner to go with all of it. You're going to reach your goals. You're going to be where you want to be. And we could argue all day long about the style of training that it takes. But I mean, let's take what he does, for example. I always tell guys, focus on the numbers, focus on performance, training minimalism, not junk volume. Make sure that every rep that you're doing counts. You don't need to do tons of fluff and pump like bodybuilders do on tons of drugs. Quality volume. And he got his stuff from Burkham, but Burkham teaches the same thing. These are all guys who are training 3 days a week, right? Even me, hell, I'm sitting at almost 180 pounds of fat-free mass. Lost a lot of body fat, still losing it, holding on to all of that fat-free mass. I'm only really training 3 days a week. But they are quality sessions. Kenobody's promoting 3-day a week quality sessions. And we could argue about the programming on these different things all that we want. We can argue about the programming. The dude's pretty jacked. Dude just hit a 2-plate press. Training 3 days a week on a minimalist style program, focusing on the big lifts, focusing on performance. Focusing on performance. All right. And he's got a shoulder girdle. His shoulders are jacked. He's got delts. He's got traps. Well, it shows when you go to hit a lift like that. Size equals strength. Until drugs come into the mix to change it, until you start tampering with drugs that change these ratios, you cannot separate size and strength. I might say, well, he doesn't focus enough on the big lower body lifts. That's true, but he is focusing on the upper body lifts, and in this case, the press now. He's strong, and it is showing. Are we going to say the guy doesn't have shoulder girdle size? It's there. Well, how did he build it? Press. And then it carries over. He's got a well-developed shoulder girdle. He's got delts. He's got traps. He can press 2 plates for full range of motion. That was a legit rep. This falls in line with what I've been telling you guys. Size equals strength. Right? The only guys who you see who aren't really strong, who are jacked, are the guys who are doing just fluff and pump while blasting a ton of gear. Right? And there's plenty of them out there. You can't separate the two. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about performance. And I always tell guys, I don't have a problem with you wanting to look aesthetic. If you want to look a certain way, that's fine. But form should follow function. And I could say other stuff about Greg. I could smack talk all I want. But in this case, he is following that example at this point. He is following it. And he's a perfect example there of what I am talking about. Form follows function. Got a guy who can now strict press while touching the chest, a 2-plate per side press without a belt. He's got jacked shoulders. It's exactly what would you expect, isn't it? What we would expect. So again, well done. I'm not going to talk any smack about the guy in this video because that was a legit feat of strength, particularly his body weight. And you can't take that away from him. Credit must be given where credit is due. But go back to the point that I say about size equaling strength, and he'll tell you the same thing at this point, right? You guys need to understand that. That is a pivotal message. That's critical that you understand that. Unless you plan on blasting a bunch of drugs, this whole idea that you guys have in your head that you can separate building muscle from building strength, no, you can't. The only way you can do that is with a syringe. That's the only way you can do that. So unless you're planning on going that route, you might want to go ahead and get strong. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.